Boom, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Juvenile Fish Academy, Nostrae Superbia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another epidemic. Yeah, we have another epidemic in our farm, and I deem it fit to shoot this video so that I can teach the general public out there on how to eradicate any form of epidemic in your farm. Now, first, you may wonder, what is an epidemic? Well, catfish epidemic actually occurs when in a farm, in one night, you are able to lose about 5-10% of your fish at once. In one night, if you're losing about 5 to 10% of your fish, at times even 3% of your total fish in one night, is an evidence or a clear evidence that you have an epidemic in your farm. That is, if you put every other condition constant, it means you have an epidemic in your farm. Putting every other condition constant is the temperature of your water is okay, the condition of your water is good, the feed you are giving them is perfectly okay, you change your water almost on daily basis. Those are the conditions that you should keep, and all of a sudden in one night you lose more than 5-10% of your fish just like that. Then know that an epidemic has occurred. Now, of course, this epidemic are actually bacterial infections. You know, when a particular fish gets infected and dies, and you are not able to remove that particular fish from your farm, and the remaining fish in your farm that are healthy prey on them, feed on them, and of course they become infected. And that is why cannibalism at times can be very, very awkward when it comes to catfish farming. Although it's interesting to see them feed on each other and, you know, recycling your product and all that, but you have to be very careful because you don't know the particular fish that comes with a very chronic bacterial infection. Now, when one dies of a chronic bacterial infection and you fail to remove them from your farm, what simply happens is that your fish prey on them, haven't preyed on them, because that fish was chronically affected, your fish automatically become affected. So all those who participated in feeding on that infected catfish automatically gets infected. And then all of a sudden, if there were about 5 tenths, or let me say 20 of them that dissected that fish to finish, then be rest assured that those 10 will die in the next few days. And by the time they go, if you don't still remove them from the pond, the remaining ones that are healthy will prey on them, and at the end of the day, they too will join the chain of the dead catfish. And so it is important for you to always check your farm, remove any dead fish you see. Don't say, fine, let me allow it for them to enjoy. After all, I don't have enough money for food. No, you are jeopardizing your fish and making them vulnerable. So the best thing you do as a very good catfish farmer, by the time you identify that, remove. But failure to remove, just like you have in this case right now, failure to remove is what led to the epidemic. Now, let me show you the number of fish I removed from this particular pond this morning that died. There are about 25 of them. It was quite unpalatable. This particular pond comprises about close to 500 fish, if not more than. And in one night, I'm losing 25. That's awkward. That's an epidemic. And of course, some still come with infections. Some still comes with symptoms on their body. And those are the sets that are yet to die. However, I'm going to show you them one after the other. Let me take you to where I actually dumped the ones that are dead. All right, boom. Here are they. Yeah, what you find here, there are about 25 catfish death in one night. So that is a clear evidence of a misnomer in the pond. It's a clear evidence that something is wrong. And when you find things like this, you are not expected to keep quiet. You have to take actions immediately, else you will end up losing your entire pond. It is real. It is real. It is real. So these are the ones that actually died last night. When I was changing water this morning, I saw a lot of them floating and I was like, wow, what could have happened? Now, these are the ones that could not make it. Now, these are the next set that were meant to die. The ones I could actually fish out from the pond. These ones are vulnerable. They are sick. They are having the symptoms all over their body. And how do you know? Their sluggish nature of swimming, they are peeling tails, peeling body, and they just remain inactive. Let me try and wake some of them up. All right, just try and move a little. Don't worry, you're going to be fine. I'm going to take good care of you. You all are going to recover by God's grace. Now, these ones are the ones that have been able to bring out from the pond that are actually looking vulnerable. However, there are still some in the major pond that are still infected, and they have to be curtailed as well. So, these are the next set of the fish that are yet to die after these ones are gone. And so, if I have not arrested this situation now, these sets will die first, and by the time they die, if I don't take them off the pond, the fish will prey on these ones, and then they will be the next one to be symptomatic. While the asymptomatic ones will prey on the ones that are dead and become symptomatic, and before you know it, the cycle continues all over again. And that is why you got to be careful. And the next step we are going to take now is how to arrest this situation and treat it effectively. And of course, there is no other way apart from the almighty bitter leaf. I'm going to teach you how to do that. The last one I uploaded, I think some months ago, was on how to treat a catfish epidemic. But those fish have grown. They were about 5 months of age. But this particular one, we are talking about fish of about a month old, an epidemic occurs in 1 month old. How do you manage that situation? All right, follow me up and let's go right there and get this job done. Boom. Now, first I have to fill here with water so that I can get my bitter leaf prepared for them. So while the water is coming up from the bottom until somewhere at the topmost side here, I'm going to stop. And then I will administer bitter leaf just as you're going to watch me do that. Just as a reminder, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do well to click the subscription button. Also click on the bell notification so that you get notified each time we upload videos on our channel. Like our videos, make your comments, ask your questions if you have any. These are the things that encourages us and makes us more determined to teach the general public out there. All right, thank you for watching. Let's quickly go and get the bitter leaf ready. The death is one of the most painful parts of every catfish farming process. To see your fish die and go, because each one that drops is actually a waste. Of course, the pain may be less now, probably because the fish are still very small and they are their baby stage. But by the time you see a fish of about 1 kg, 1.5 kg die, you as a farmer, you would definitely not be happy because you know how much you have spent trying to raise that fish to maturity. And so as a catfish farmer, you have to fight death in catfish by all means. If you can be able to minimize death, of course you cannot avoid death. Death is inevitable. No matter the chemical you use, death is inevitable as far as catfish farming is concerned. So if you cannot avoid it, then you can at least minimize it. And that is exactly what we are working towards right now. All right, boom. I need to put on my safety boots because my farm is really horrible. Boom. So now I can go into the farm. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to harvest bitter leaf. What you see over there is bitter leaf, but because the farm is terribly bushy, it may be housing some reptiles, so I have to wear my safety boot. Now let's see how to walk in there and get this done. All right, walking in already. All right, beautiful. So I think this is a better position to stand, so at least free from any form of reptile or whatsoever that may affect my harvest. So I want to harvest this bitter leaf right now. Let me drop this here. So bitter leaves are very good when it comes to catfish treatment and as well human growth and development. They are very medicinal. When I say very medicinal, I mean highly medicinal. Number one, bitter leaves are antibacterial. Number two, they are antiparasitic. Number three, they are anti-malaria. Oh yes, they fight against malaria too. They also fight against blood cholesterol in the human body. But as far as catfish is concerned, it helps in oxidation. Oxidation in catfish farming in the sense that it helps to reduce the acidic content of your water and makes your water healthy for your catfish to live and dwell in. If the acidic level of your water is high, then be rest assured that your catfish are at risk. And if you are unable to regulate that by the use of bitter leaf, then you may end up using stuff like caustic soda or those kind of different chemicals people use to regulate the level of acid or alkalinity of their water. Everything I do is natural. I'm not a herbalist, but I have to study all these leaves so that they can be useful to me as a catfish farmer, and they are doing just very fine. So this is actually the medicine to the epidemic my farm is facing right now, and by the special grace of God, you are going to see the progress, and you will watch this and thank me later. Then apart from that, bitter leaf has an amazing importance when it comes to aging. They are anti-aging leaves. Anti-aging in the sense that they can actually fight against old cells in your body or rejuvenate the cells in your body and make you live longer and healthier. So there are a lot of things which I just cannot remember off path right now, but if you really want to know more about bitter leaf, I have a video on bitter leaf on my channel. Just go through that channel and you will see a video I uploaded on bitter leaf. I said a whole lot of things about bitter leaf. If you want to really know much about it, just try and check for it on my playlist. Go to sickness and treatment option on my playlist, and you are going to see that there. All right, I think this is enough for the entire pond. Let's quickly go and administer them. The water level is seriously rising. Now we are almost at the max spot. Once we get here, I'm going to stop. And at this point, we have exactly 800 liters of water inside this pond. Boom. Now I'm at my kitchen. The next thing I'm going to do is to have them blended. I'm going to pour them here. Of course, you wash them first. After washing, you put some water, join to this jug, and then boom, on your blending machine. As soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to do that off camera. And then once I'm done with that, we take the next stage. Boom. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the blending is complete. So at this stage, it's time to administer the bitter leaf proper. Now, the first thing we're going to do is to first give these little guys, these are the most vulnerable ones. They are more vulnerable than the ones you see in the blue tank because their symptoms are already very much palpable. So first thing I had to do was to add table salt to this particular little pond, a quarantine pond. Just a little quantity, not more than 1 teaspoon for this volume of water. So now I'm going to put some little amount of the bitter leaf extract. So to do that, first I'll put this basket just to help me filter the remaining parts of the bitter leaf leaves. When you blend, you don't blend totally. Some of the leaves still remains unblended, so I don't want them to get mixed up with the content of the water. So that's the bitter content of the water. So I'm just going to administer just a little bit. Just a little bit, that is enough for them. Beautiful. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. So, of course, what you see here are the parts of the bitter leaf that couldn't undergo full blending. So, but the bitter content is what is required. So, boom, the water is totally out of vision. So you may not be able to see any animal there, but if you're very careful, you will see them swim. They are right there at the bottom. Yeah, you see some of them there. Now this water is very much uncomfortable for them. For this particular quarantine pond, they are going to be here for the next 1 hour. Then I'm going to filter the water away and give them fresh water and administer table salt. But for the major pond, I'm going to leave them there for 24 good hours because they have a wider volume of water and they don't need concentrated amount of the extract to heal them. So, and moreover, it's just a mere booster. It boosts their immune system to fight against the bacteria that is actually the problem they are facing right now. So let's go to the major pond. All right, so these are the fish in the major pond already. Yeah, some of them are already standing out of. I gave them food this morning anyway, so they have eaten to satisfaction. So, but that will not stop the treatment they are supposed to receive. So first I have to get the basket ready, and then next pour the bitter content. So first I will drop this particular basket on the surface of the water. It will be floating like this. Then I will get the bitter content. Then I will have to pour this bitter content on it. Watch. Go straight to the bottom and filters. I don't know where that filter is going to, but if you look at it, you see the way the bitter content is radiating inside the water. Now look at this thick foam. Definitely it has to be part of the water, but the water is seriously green here. And that is how the greenness is expected to radiate around the surface of this water to the level where you barely see the fish swim. Now let's drop the foamy part. Beautiful. And get some of this water to rinse. Perfect. Perfect. So at this point I'm gonna bring this off from here and do the filtration proper. Perfect. Just like this. Well, if any of the bitter leaves particles that couldn't be blended remains, fine. If it is part of the water, it's not still a problem, you know. But I just want to have them filtered because it may end up blocking the how do we call it now? It may end up blocking the outlets of the pond, and you find it difficult to change your water. So now everything is looking whitish and very much unpalatable. But it is treatment that is actually going on. So what we are going to do now is to allow this pond just like you see it for the next 24 hours. Yes, this is 800 liters of water, so the water is not too concentrated with bitter leaf like the other one I have over there. So they are going to be in this pond till tomorrow. Of course, I will come back 1 hour later when all these white fumes must have gone off the surface of the pond, and then administer food. Although very little amount of them will feed, but for them to feed in this condition, if they can, is the best. If they cannot, then don't bother. By the time you're done with your treatment, you give them food and they will be just happy to receive that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Juvenile Fish Academy. If you have not subscribed to our channel, feel free to click the subscription button, like our videos, share our videos, and also try and click on the bell notification so that each time we upload our videos, you're among the first sets to receive them. Once again, this is Juvenile Fish Academy. Boom. Let's see what happens exactly in 24 hours later. Boom. So this is exactly about an hour later. Now this is how the water looks like, and they are going to be in this water for the next 24 hours. However, let's try feeding them and see what comes out of it. So we are going to allow the water, as I said before, to remain here for the next 24 hours. Now it's time to go and change that of the most vulnerable ones. Boom. So these are the vulnerable ones here. 24 hours is too much for them because it is concentrated and they are very, very vulnerable. So anything that will twist their ability to live in fresh water can easily quicken their death. So it's time to bring this out. Everybody should fall out. Alright, perfect. Oh, one is here. Sorry, my dear. Relax. Oh, you're applying pectoral fin for me. You shouldn't do that. Alright, so now it's time to open fresh water for them. That's okay. So what I have here is table salt. So I'm going to administer table salt for them. Just this spoon is just 12. This is just okay for them. I should have dissolved this before putting in this water, but I just decided to do that because of time. Just 1 and 2. Please make sure you dissolve it in water. Don't follow this pattern. I know I'm doing this, but you may not be able to get it the way I'm doing it, so that it won't harm your fish. You know, this salt can kill. It can actually finish them. At the same time, it can save them. You just need to know the quantity to do. So try as much as you can to dissolve in a separate bowl before applying it here. Alright, so they are going to be here for the next 24 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Juvenile Fish Academy. Let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. Boom. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the next morning. Yeah, 24 hours later. So this is how the water looks like. So at this point, I have to bring down the entire pond. So now the water is going out, so we have to wait for this water to go down. We change the water afresh and then give them food, and they will be better henceforth. Boom, now the water is almost totally down, and if you check very well, we still have some dead cases. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's 1, 2, there's another one here, 3, there's some over there, 4, 5, 6. You know, I think there are more than 5 dead ones here. So while applying the almighty bitter leaf to curb a particular pandemic or epidemic in your farm, don't believe or don't think that it is a and amen, that the very first time you apply it, dead cases will cease immediately. No, it doesn't work that way. It is a gradual process. It's a gradual process. The first stage you have done is very, very important. It has gone a long way. It would have been worse than this. You know, it would have been worse than this. So what you do, of course, the first thing to do is to remove all these dead ones from the pond to avoid them infecting the ones you find there. As soon as you remove them, you still look for those that are looking symptomatic. Remove them from the pond and quarantine them in a separate pond. Then this one, you continue your treatment. Now, yesterday we actually used bitter leaf, but today we are going to use table salt. Yes, we are going to use table salt. So you have to blend the two together until your farm is fully healed. Then you can stop at that point. It's not easy to fight an epidemic, but it is something you must fight as a fish farmer, so that you don't end up having your entire fish in your farm wiped off. Alright, so let's bring this out and have an accurate number of dead cases in this pond now. So, ladies and gentlemen, boom, these are the total number of deaths that occurred last night. If you count them vividly, we have a total of 12 fish here that dropped last night during the bitter leaf treatment, and that is quite a very good decrease, about 50% decrease already in terms of mortality, because yesterday we had 25 deaths, and while the treatment began we have 12. That's a very big decrease. Now the ones that have been arrested, because they were symptomatic, are also on quarantine. Remember, we quarantined them yesterday. Let's see the progress so far. And boom, these are them. I have to, sort more from the major pond, the ones that were still showing some symptoms, and add to this one. So what you have here is more than the one we saw yesterday. So, but the water looks cloudy because I've not changed it yet. I have to change the water and give them more of table salt. If you check in this pond, we have no death at all. These ones would have been dead alongside with the 12 we had this morning, but they have been properly arrested, and the ones in the pond are constantly being treated to avoid them from, falling prey of the current going epidemic. So let's change this water. Some of them are indeed very, very weak. Alright, no dead case at all. These ones were the ones that we arrested yesterday and today. So get them host. That's okay. The water is still spinning, so table salt as usual. Try not to follow this particular process of putting it directly. Try and dissolve them with water before putting inside, so that you don't kill your fish. I'm professional in this field, so I know exactly when to administer salt in this pattern. You may not know when to administer salt in this pattern, so just try and follow due protocols. Alright, so those 2 table salts is okay for them, and let's keep them over the night again and see what happens. Boom, this is Juvenile Fish Academy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is 300 grams of salt. Yeah, table salt, normal sodium chloride you use for cooking. So that is going to be the next thing we are going to administer to this pond. Now the capacity of this pond is about roughly 200 liters of water. So for 300 grams of table salt. So first we have to add water to it, and it will wash itself into the pond until it is totally finished. Alright, so now the entire salt has gone into the pond. Now this will remain and keep the fish till the next 24 hours before I'm going to bring down the water again. Alright, so thank you for watching. Let's see what happens in the next 24 hours. If this treatment is successful, we should record less than 6 deaths, because today we recorded 12. So we are supposed to get far less than that. We shouldn't have anything beyond 6 death cases. Alright, thank you for watching, and let's see what happens tomorrow. Boom. Boom. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the next morning. Yeah, we are about to bring down the water again and see what today has for us. So the first thing to do is to open here. Boom. So once the water goes down, we check the number of death cases, if at all there is any. And from our expectation, we don't expect the number of death cases to be more than 6, because yesterday was 12, day before yesterday was 25, so it should drastically reduce to less than 50% for a successful treatment. Alright, let's watch and see what happens. Meanwhile, let's quickly check the ones we have quarantined on a smaller pond. Boom. If you have a look at them, some of them are still looking very sick, their bodies peeling off, and a lot of them at the bottom. One seems to be hyperactive. I don't know if he's running for his life, if he's affecting others, but the system seems to be difficult for them to swim very well. But then they are sick, and it's one of the healing process. We just have to continue healing them until they recover. If anyone drops out of maybe stress or tiredness, then we have to let go. But these are the measures you take naturally to ensure that they survive. All right, let's bring down this water and then change them for them too. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 dead cases here. I think 2 have dropped. 1 and 2. 2 among them have given up the ghost. I will quickly give these guys water because they seriously need it. But however, some of them fell off from here. Don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn. Another one is here. Don't be stubborn. You just enjoy yourself and make things hard for yourself. Boom, the water is going down. Ladies and gentlemen, this seems to be a very, very successful treatment. From what we see right now, we hardly can see any fish dead or floating somewhere. Everywhere just looks perfect. I was expecting at least any fish to drop, let it be less than 6, less than 50% of what dropped yesterday. But from the look of things, I have not sighted anyone dead as we speak. However, let's allow the water to go down fully before we make our final conclusions. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have one dead. I hope you can see that. Oh yeah, that's the one you see just there close to the shower cover that is there. Shift a little. Yeah, that one is dead. And we have one cannibalized on. You will just see the head floating somewhere. I don't know exactly where the head is right now. But then, from the look of things, we only have 2 cases here. Just 2 dead cases, and it's a very, very good record. One dead and the other one being attacked and cannibalized on. So it's assumed that it's even actually one that died naturally. So the treatment is very much effective, and we are going to continue just the same way. Today we are still going to administer 300 grams of salt and then allow it for the next 24 hours. And we will continue this treatment until we have couples of days that we don't experience any form of death at all. And then at that point we can conclude that yes, the job is well done. The epidemic is out of the common. So let's put new water and do the treatment as usual. Oh, thanks for watching. This is Juvenile Academy.